Okay, question 11. Looks like a graph question, doesn't it? So let's have a read. We've got a function where the maximum is 8 and the maximum value of f is 8, and that occurs at 6, okay? It's telling us the function is given by that, okay? State the maximum value of g. Alright, so a little graph question then. So let's have a think. What's part A saying? Well, our g of x is the same as 2 of the f of x take away 9. And so if I double this function and take away 9, that gives me the g of x. So I don't know, you could maybe think about g of x, or sorry, f of x, say f of x was, I don't know, like a sine wave, say that was like your f of x. My g of x, well, it's going to be double that. So say that was, let's call that 3 and negative 3, just to make the numbers something. So if I double that, it's going to go up and down to 6 and negative 6, but it's also a 9 taken away from it. So it would actually take away 9. So it's going to be doing something like that. I don't know. So I'll be starting on negative 9. The maximum would now be, I've already drawn that very, very well. I'm going to try that again with the numbers. So it would start on negative 9, absolutely would. But this max of 6, that would be going down to negative 3. That's where the scales don't really work out. And this would be going all the way down to negative 15. So we'll be doing something, I don't know. You have to excuse my scales. But do you know what I mean? We're taking away 9 as well. Yeah, so double it, take away 9. Just to try and give you an image in your head, a very poorly drawn image. So we know that the maximum value of f is 8, and that occurs when x is 6. Okay? The maximum value of g then, but let's take the maximum value, it doesn't really matter where it occurs, the maximum value, so for 11a, the maximum value was 8. So if I was to do 2 times 8, take away the 9, so 16 take away 9, it's going to give me 7. That's going to be the maximum value, yeah? Because I'm taking my y value, I'm doubling it, and I'm taking away 9. Happy with that? So they can be quite tricky, the graph questions, a bit wordy, and there's a bit of thinking going on, but yeah, that's the crux of it. We're doubling our function and taking away 9. We don't right now need to care where it occurs. I think that's just there to confuse you. The next bit, maybe just take a separate line for this actually. The function h is given by that. State the maximum of h and state where that occurs. Okay, so this time we're taking our f function. So what am I doing to my f function then? I've got my f of x function, and then I've got my h of x function. So I'm just going to put x and y and x and y. So what's happening to the x's then? Well, if I'm taking away 4, we always do the opposite here, so it means they're going to be, I'm adding 4 onto them, right? So if I add 4 on, it's going to give me the h of x ones. So we adding on 4. And what happens to the y values? Well, that's just everything outside the bracket. So I'm not timesing it, I'm just adding 5. So if I was to add 5 to these values, I'll get that. Now maybe, yeah, you could write this down in different ways now. So what do we know? We knew that the maximum was 8 at x is 6. So when x was 6, the maximum was 8. So that means for this one, if I add 4, I get 10. I'll do this in blue. So it's going to give me 10, and add 5 for 13. And that's you. That's pretty much it. All I can say is anything next to the x affects as x, everything else affects y. Inside this bracket, we do the opposite. So if that said 2x, I would have halved my x value. If that said x divided by 2, I would have times it by 2. Everything outside affects the y value. So if that says plus 5, I add plus 5. If it said take away 10, I would take away 10. If it said 2f of x, I'd be timesing it by 2. So we just do what it says on the tin, and we do it in BODMAS terms. We multiply, then we add. Okay, so a wee bit of thinking, a little bit of visualization. Some people love these questions. Some other people find it quite tricky. It's not a lot of marks. There's not a lot of work in, but there's a wee bit of thinking involved. Okay, so I hope that's a quick rundown on functions anyway. And again, if you if you just try and think about it, it does make a wee bit of sense. But yeah, maybe a topic that you don't feel it's worth your while because these questions are wildly different every single year. Okay, so next to the X, you do the opposite, and that affects X. Everything else you do as it says, and that affects Y. That's the big take. Okay.